Hey guys, EC Network here, coming at you with another video. So we know that a new Ben 10 series is in the works over at Cartoon Network, but we don't know what it's going to be about, nor do we know when it will be releasing. The only information we have is from back in the summer when Duncan Rolu said that the new series is in the works and he's hoping for a reveal or announcement of that series by the end of this year. Well, now we're in October, the end of the year is approaching, and we have no word on what the future of Ben 10 is, so I wanted to take a look at when we could possibly be seeing an announcement for the next iteration of Ben 10. So like I said before, Duncan Rolu stated that he thinks that the announcement will come before the end of 2022, and of course we're only at like the midpoint of October. There's still the rest of this month, all of November, and all of December for them to announce the next iteration of Ben 10, so there is plenty of time for it to still happen this year, but I also would not be surprised if we don't hear about Ben 10 till the first quarter of next year. The reason I say this is because oftentimes things like this get pushed back. You may be saying, hey, DC Network, if Duncan Rolu said it's coming by the end of this year, then it's coming by the end of this year. And yes, well, I do agree we should take one of the creator's words, seriously. At the same time, just because he said it's coming by the end of next year doesn't mean it's for sure happening, because this is a network decision. For example, I remember, I believe back in like December of last year, people were asking Duncan, hey, when are we going to get a look at, season 5 of the Ben 10 reboot? We want to see what these specials are about. And he said, oh yeah, it should be happening within the next few weeks, if not by the midpoint of January. He said basically something along those lines. Then I believe we didn't end up getting a look at them until like March, I think. They came out beginning of March, so I think it was like midpoint of February is when we actually got our first look at season 5 of the Ben 10 reboot. So these things are all tentative, they're all up in the air. Things are in the planning stages. They're working on the show in whatever stage of development it is, because that's another thing we don't know. Is this show still in the very early stages of development, or is it actually at the point where it's getting animated and its voice acting is being recorded for it? Because the thing is, back in January of this year, Man of Action was still in negotiations with Cartoon Network about what's next for Ben 10. So at that point, we know for a fact that the next iteration of Ben 10 was not decided on. Basically, any point between January and I think June or July is when Duncan came out with this statement. So any point between January and June or July, so about a 6-month window we're looking at. Somewhere in that time frame is when the next iteration got a green light to it. That's the point at which they said, okay, this is what we're going to go forward with for Ben 10. Obviously, at that point, it's in the very early stages of development, but it depends on how quickly they're developing this series, and it also depends on what exactly is this series. What form is it going to be taking? Is it going to be a more serialized version of Ben 10 where we're actually going to have a cohesive plot throughout the entire series? Because if that's the case, then that would obviously take a little more time than if they're doing one-and-off type episodes, sort of what the Ben 10 reboot was in its early seasons, where there was absolutely no plot. It was just each episode Ben was going on a different adventure. So it depends on what kind of show the next iteration of Ben 10 takes, what form it will take, that is. So yeah, we really don't know what stage the next iteration of Ben 10 is in, but if it is getting announced this year at some point, do not expect a trailer for it, just because I don't think we're at that point yet. If this is, getting animated already, or if the voice acting is being recorded right now, all the lines are being recorded, then we're probably not going to actually see the show until at least the midpoint of next year at the earliest. Probably, I would say we're not going to see the next Ben 10 at the very earliest until the fall, I would say, for a premiere date. We really don't know what stage of development this is in. My gut feeling, though, is when this announcement does come, whether it be, before the end of this year or whether it be before March, I do think it's just going to be a press release. I think they're just going to say, Ben 10, whatever the subtitle is, this is the 6th iteration of Ben 10. They might give you a little synopsis of, the plot, like, oh yeah, this is taking place in the reboot timeline, or yeah, this is taking place in the original continuity, or yeah, this is a brand new take on Ben that has nothing to do with the prior iterations. They'll probably give us something like that, and we might maybe get a concept art for what Ben actually is going to look like in this series, But that's all I'm expecting. Honestly, the concept art with Ben thing, the reason I say we might get that is because I remember when they announced the reboot all those years ago, I believe back in 2015 or 16, they did show a little concept of what Ben would look like in the reboot, so we could see something like that, but I'm not expecting a trailer, I'm not expecting a release date or anything like that. I'm expecting just a press release saying, this is the next Ben 10, here's the synopsis of it, and maybe we'll get an actual look at Ben in the 6th series. Anyways, let me know in the comment section below when you guys think the next iteration of Ben 10 is coming and what you're hoping it's going to be about. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.